Hello, everyone. It's Trita D here. And today I'm going to be reacting to Shannon Harris, which is the aunt of Naziah Harris, and the grandmother, Annette. And so I'm going to be reacting to this. And if you don't know, Naziah Harris is a 13-year-old Detroit teen who went missing about a year ago. So she went missing on January 9th of 2024. Her body has not been found. So this is a pretrial. They're trying to uh basically gather enough information. Well, they gathered enough information for Jarvis Butts to be tried and charged for the murder of Naziah Harris, even though they don't have a body. So this is a pretrial, and they're trying to basically convince the judge that to proceed with the trial. To first degree murder. Little janky right now. Person now is so Naziah Harris's mother. But anyways, enough talking. We're gonna get right into it. Let's get it.
Preliminary matters before we begin testimony.
No, Judge, not for the people I do know. We have, I believe it was requested a mutual order of sequestration last time, with an exception for the officer in charge, Sergeant Shannon Jones, who's sitting in the courtroom. I would ask that that continue today and for the rest of the hearing.
Okay. Okay. If there's anyone in the courtroom who may testify or is a witness on this case, that means that also if you may testify at trial, if this is bound over to Third Circuit, you must exit the courtroom now. This is being streamed live also, so if there's anyone on YouTube who is viewing this remotely, maybe a witness on this case, you must exit now and not watch the testimony that is about to occur. And of course, that's with the exception of the officer in charge.
Si l'anglais est je garantis.
Like I said, y'all, my Wi-Fi is a little janky. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I think we got it. Let's see. So, like I said, Annette Harris is the grandmother of Naziah Harris. So, the grandmother slash guardian. I just want to know how big the house was, because 6 kids plus Naziah plus you plus Shannon, that must have been a big old house. Just saying. Shannon was there, but she wasn't there most of the time. What does that even mean? So you was raising her kids. That's what it sounded like. Because what do you mean she was there, but she wasn't there? I'm confused, but okay.
And when you were there in January of 24, how old was Naziah at that time?
January 24th, she had 13. She had her birthday in September.
And was she going to school?
Yes, she was.
What school did she attend?
J.E. Clark Preparatory Academy.
And is that also in Detroit?
Yes, it is.
Just generally, can you tell us about your morning routine with the kids, specifically Naziah, about getting them to school and things like that?
Sure. Okay. 6 a.m. That's when I get the children up. They usually get up, get dressed, prepare themselves. About 7:15, 7:20, we're basically saying prayer and we're loading up in the car. I'm dropping them off at school at 7:30. Breakfast starts at 7:30, and they like to eat breakfast at school.
She forgot to say how she be cussing them kids out. I don't know if y'all seen a live. It was a Facebook live that Shannon had went live one morning, and all the kids was getting dressed, and the grandmother was sitting there cussing them out, like going off, like she was on some mean woman. Like this lady ain't nothing to play with. She ain't nothing to play with. This lady, it's something about her that I don't like. That live, she was cussing them kids out, and then she was like, okay, let's pray. So she forget, oh, we get them up, they get dressed, I cuss them out, and then we pray. She forgot the cuss them out part. But yeah.
And does that include Naziah? You would drop her off at J.E. Clark?
All together, yes.
Now, I want to talk about, let me ask it this way. Did you know someone by the name of Jarvis Butts?
Yes.
And do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today? If you need to stand up, then look around.
I don't have no glasses on. No, I don't see them.
Do you need glasses? Maybe?
Yeah, my
Okay,
daughter has my glasses.
Okay, Judge, may I take a moment to go get her glasses?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not trying to pause it too much, but it's just really funny how she looked to the left and then she looked to the right. She knew exactly where he was sitting at. You don't need no glasses. You know this man. You done seen him on multiple occasions. He done been to birthday parties. He done been in your crib. He done spent the night. You know where he at. Stop playing games. Talking about you need glasses. You know exactly where he's sitting at. It's to look to the left and then look to the right for me. Like, girl, bye.
May I approach witness, sir?
Yes.
Thank you.
And the Jarvis, don't look down now. Don't be scared now. You got your mask on, you looking down, but you wasn't looking down when you was
You
raping
just
these
stand up.
kids,
Take
though.
them over.
Okay.
Have that same confidence.
Do you see Mr. Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you
Yes.
point to him and identify a piece of clothing that he's wearing?
Blue uniform with the blue mask.
For the record, the witness has identified Jarvis Butts, the defendant in this matter.
So reflected?
And may I approach the witness again, Judge?
Yeah.
I'm approaching with what's already been admitted as People's 9. And Ms. Harris, do you recognize the person in that photo?
Yes.
And who is that person?
Jarvis Butts.
And is that the same person you've identified in court here today?
Yes.
And Ms. Harris, how did you know Mr. Butts back in January of 2024?
He's the father of my daughter's children.
And is that daughter Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. How many kids do they have together?
5.
And would he come around your house on Bedford in January or the months leading up to January?
Whenever he did come, he would always pull up in a white truck.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house no matter what condition it's in. If you need to sell,
And Shannon would go out to the car and they would sit and talk or whatever, but he would very rarely come in my house.
That's not what he asked you, though. He just asked you, did you know him? Did you see him? Did he ever come to your house? I don't even think he asked that. Wait, hold on. Let me go back a little bit. What exactly did he even ask her? Because she just over explaining herself. Like, let's go back just a little bit. I told you my Wi-Fi a little janky.
Ms. Harris, do you recognize the person in that photo?
Yes.
And who is that person?
Jarvis Butts.
Is that the same person you've identified in court here today?
Yes.
And Ms. Harris, how did you know Mr. Butts back in January of 2024?
He's the father of my daughter's children.
And is that daughter Shannon Harris?
Yes.
Okay. How many kids do they have together?
5.
And would he come around your house on Bedford in January or the months leading up to January?
Whenever he did come.
Okay, so he asked, did he come around your house around January? And then she started over explaining herself. So really, what I think, everybody just trying to save their ass for real. Because they knew what was going on, but they did nothing to save this little girl. And that's just sad. At the end of the day, it's really sad. She just over explaining herself. So yeah, I don't know. Like, this grandmother, she just fishy. But we're gonna let's continue to watch. We're gonna continue to watch.
He would always pull up in a white truck, and Shannon would go out to the car and they would sit and talk or whatever, but he would very rarely come in my house.
And during that time when he would come around and sit in his car, was there any times that he would interact with Naziah that you saw?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. Now I want to talk specifically about January 9th. You had described your morning routine with the kids. Did you know that routine at 9th?
Yes, I did.
And did that include dropping Naziah off at J.E. Clark 7:15 to 7:30?
Yes.
And can you tell us what she was wearing on January 9th, 2024?
Yes, she was wearing a pair of light powdered blue jeans with a light powdered blue jacket that had the black little fur around the collar. It was like a two-piece set.
Okay. And did she have a sweater on or a shirt on or something?
She had a shirt. She wore a shirt underneath it.
And you remember, did she have any other clothes with her on the 9th when you dropped her off?
She had her little blue sweatshirt with a little hoodie. She had that with her.
And do you know how or when she got that hoodie?
I bought that hoodie for her. I guess it was in the fall sometime when I bought it. When I first, I mean, it wasn't nothing new. It was just one of her old hoodie jackets she used when she go to gym.
Okay. And in terms of, if you know, the condition of that hoodie on the 9th, was it torn, ripped, damaged in any way?
No, it was fairly, really, like, kind of like still new, because she took pretty good care of her things.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
May I approach her?
Yes.
I'm approaching with People's Proposed Exhibit 12. Ms. Harris, do you recognize what I just handed you?
Yes,
And is that a picture of Neziah?
yes.
And do you know when that picture was taken?
The same day, January the 9th, she took this picture.
Move to admit People's Proposed 12.
Any objection?
No objection.
It'll be admitted as People's Exhibit 12.
And when you dropped Neziah off at J.E. Clark, what was the routine supposed to be after school was over?
Okay, well, school is over, the bell rings at 2:40. Isaiah was due to come home. And normally when the bell rings 2:40, 2:45, she's getting on the bus.
And was that's what she normally did on other days?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry,
And
yes.
what time would she normally arrive back at home?
The desire would be walking in through the door, maybe 3:05, no later than that.
And on January 9th, did she walk in at 3:05?
No, she did not.
And were you home when she didn't come home?
I was there for a little while, but I left out to run some errands. But
Crazy.
no, when I got to the house, she was not there.
And at that time, did you have a conversation with someone else about her not coming home? Is I not coming home?
Yeah, when I picked my children up from the after school program, I went in and my daughter said,
Objection to what it said on the hearsay.
In your
I'll
response.
rephrase the question.
Okay, sustain.
Just talking about what you saw and heard, and not asking for what anybody said, but did you talk to Shannon, your daughter?
yes,
about
Shannon said she was not there.
when you got home that day on the 9th, was Neziah there?
No,
And did you eventually make a police report about her missing?
yes, I did. Yes, I
And
did.
when did you do that?
That morning, when I got to school, I went up and dropped the kids off to school.
That morning. So not the day she was missing. Mind you, if you heard her, she said Neziah always came home through the door around 3 and 3:05. The next morning, you made a report. So you went from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to 9 to 10, 12, 1 in the morning to the next morning on January 10th. That morning, then you decided to make a report. Make it make sense.
I talked with the dean and the principal, and I told them that I was on my way to the police station, and they told me that they would call the police, and the DPS police came there.
Said DPS, is that Detroit Public Schools?
Yeah,
And did you talk to an officer?
Okay, this is another thing, right? She didn't go to the police directly She went to the school and made a report. That don't make no sense to me. Why you didn't call the police directly? You made a report to the public school police. So the Detroit Public School Police, they police things, for the lack of better words, in the school. Your daughter didn't get into trouble in school. She didn't come home. So why are you going to the Department Public School Police instead of Detroit Police Department? That don't make no sense.
Sir, at that time at the school.
Yes, I did.
And was that at J.E. Clark's location?
Yes,
And you said that morning, are you talking about the morning of the 10th?
yes.
Okay, everyone is trying to come up with crazy ways to skip ads. Like, no, guys, just download Pi. This Chrome extension takes 5 seconds to set up.
Was Naziah active on social media, if you know?
Well, as far as I know, she was. I mean, there were times that she was sneaking on it, you know. Yeah, she was.
Okay. And did you keep track of her social media pages like TikTok or Facebook or anything like that?
I tried. A lot of times, you know, I would take her phone and stuff from her, you know, so, you know, to keep her from being on there, you know.
And after the 9th, did you ever see any posts made by Naziah?
I didn't see any posts. Most of the time, if there was a post or something, she posts.
Have you ever heard after the 9th?
So she's saying her daughter, which she's talking about Shannon, Naziah's aunt, which is Jarvis Butt's baby mother, slash girlfriend, slash lover, slash trick, whatever they had going on. She would be aware, the grandmother would be aware of post because Shannon would come to her. Why are you going to the grandmother and telling her what Naziah is posting? Right? So we all seen, I don't know if y'all seen it. I've seen posts of Naziah, you know, old posts of like, you know, doing like, you know how like the TikTok things, you know, the songs or whatever, and people were like, oh, she was talking about Jarvis. I think she was talking about Shannon. So I think it's weird. Like, why are you going to the grandmother saying, oh, she's posting this, she's posting that? It's weird. Like, it really is very strange. Something is very strange. Like, I'm telling you, this is very strange. But let's get back into it.
I've ever heard any communication or seen Naziah?
Mm-mm.
When, is that a no?
No,
And when you dropped her off on school at J.E. Clark, was that the last time? Just to follow up, I did forget to ask this. Her bus stop, how far from your house was that in walking distance?
5 minutes.
And you know where the location that she got dropped off at was, the address or the intersection?
Right there at a 3 Mile Drive in Cornwall.
And that's 5 minutes from your house?
Yeah.
And did Naziah have any nicknames that people called her?
Her family called her Tootle, but I always called her Glamorous. I've been calling her that ever since she was born.
Say glamour?
Glamorous.
Oh. We have one more objection.
Yeah. You said to
To.
the,
Mhm.
I'm not very good.
thanks, Russ.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
As I return. Right,
Correct.
also got her in 2016.
Yes.
Is her birth mother still around?
She is.
Okay, does she have a relationship with her?
No.
She doesn't have. A relationship. No contact with her,
Deal with my daughter. So
and you testified that you
Why is she trying to throw shade at her daughter? Y'all didn't catch that? She tried to throw shade, but okay.
currently stay on Bedford Street.
yes.
In fact, I think you testified you lived on 2 houses on Bedford Street.
Correct.
And did not Desire have friends on Bedford Street that you were aware of?
She had friends, but her friends didn't live on Bedford.
Okay. Do you know if she ever had any friends over?
No.
Did she ever spend the night at any of these friends' houses?
No.
And at your prior neighborhood, did she have friends that she may have spent the night over?
No.
Okay. You indicated that there are approximately 6 children in the house.
Well, not now. When he asked me about the address,
Yes.
I lived at 2 houses that was on the same street of Bedford.
Okay.
Okay. So the house that we lived in before, it was my children and my daughter's children.
Your daughter being Shannon,
No, Marquita.
Marquita.
Mhm.
Okay. And did Desire have any close relationship with any of these children particularly?
She was close with my granddaughter, one of my granddaughters, yeah.
Which granddaughter is that?
Josiah. I mean, Janiyah.
Okay.
All of their names are similar.
See, I do know Janaya was Jarvis and Shannon's daughter. And he supposedly was touching on her too. In the text messages between Jarvis and Naziah, it indicated that he was doing things with her too. His own daughter. Let that be known.
And Janiyah is Shannon's daughter?
Yes,
That would be Jarvis's daughter as well, correct?
correct.
And at your Bedford Street address, how many adults live there?
Just me and Shannon.
Okay. When did Shannon move in?
I'm sorry.
When did Shannon move in to Bedford?
Oh, I guess back in last October or something.
That would be October of 23.
Yeah,
So in January of 24, she was there, correct?
mm-hmm.
Sorry, is that a yes?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
And you indicated that Desire participated in social media.
She did participate in social media. She was on social media a lot of times when she wasn't supposed to be.
So did you see her post or did you follow her post?
I didn't see her really posting anything. I mean, at times when I did check, I didn't find anything.
Okay.
And most of the time, if she did post something, my daughter's one would, let me know, if she posted something.
So you don't know who her social media friends were?
The only person that I know that was one of her classmates that she would post little things with one of her little classmates.
Okay. But it's fair to say there are some things you did not know.
Yeah, well, some. Mm-hmm.
You indicated that you drove Desire to school every day, correct?
Correct.
Who else went to school in Desire?
My other two children, Shannon's children.
Okay. And what type of student was Desire?
Nazar was a very good student, very humble, very outgoing. She got great grades. Her attendance was good. The teachers had no problem with her. They really liked Nazar. Nazar got along with just about anybody. She was very likable.
Did she have any disciplinary problems?
No.
Do you recall her ever getting into a fight?
Did you know that you can have permanent teeth in just 24 hours? That's right, only 24 hours and you're smile ready. And with affordable
She did.
Fight, more than one fight?
There one that she had a couple of consultations with in school. And it was like an ongoing situation.
Okay. And when did this first start?
I'm not quite sure when it started, but it was like off and on, with this particular schoolmate that she had.
And this for her current school, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did Desire participate in any extracurricular activities? Was she on band or anything?
She liked it, gym, robotics, art. I mean, she liked a lot of things that she was, involved in,
And would any of these things cause her to have stayed after school?
The only time she stayed after school is when she wanted to be enrolled in that.
Just one. I just want to step back a moment. We asked you about her social media. You said there were some things that you weren't aware of on social media, correct? Did you ever check her direct messages?
Like I said, I did, but when I did, there was nothing on there.
There was nothing.
No.
Okay. Did you monitor any of her conversations?
Yeah, I would, go check,
Okay.
but like I said, a lot of times I tap it, from her. At one point, so there was nothing that I knew of that she was on unless she got somebody's cell phone or something,
Okay. So you did mention that she had a tablet. How many devices she have that allow her to connect to social media?
She only had that one tablet that I had bought her. And like I said, I took that tablet and put the tablet up.
On January,
Children and my daughter's children. I dropped them all off.
and you said that you noticed that she did not come home at her normal time.
Correct.
All right. You did not call the police then, correct?
No, driving around looking for her. My daughter, reached out to some of her classmates. I did, nothing. And that morning, I got up, and like I said, I went straight to the school. And from there, I was on my way to police station to make the report. And,
So she didn't come home. The next morning, you decided to go to the school. Do you know how long it is? She said she usually come home like what, 3:05, right? She usually coming through the door at 3:05, right? From 3:05 to the next morning, that's a long time. That's a long time. You're her guardian, her grandmother, her caretaker. She didn't come home, but you decided to go to sleep, have dinner with the other kids, wake up, have breakfast with the other kids, get them dressed, take them to school, and then report her missing to the school. You didn't call the police. You went to the school. Make that make sense. They gave this man, Jarvis Butts, they gave this man way too much time to get rid of evidence. Way too much time. That's why it's so hard to find her, because it's like they gave him way too much time to get rid of her body, get rid of evidence. They gave him way too much time. As soon as she didn't come home at 3:05, if it was my kid, if I was supposed to be a guardian over somebody's kid, a caretaker, and they always come home, they're never late. That's what the grandmother said. Oh no, she's never late. She never did this. 3:05. Okay, I'm gonna be waiting. About 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm gonna be, what's going on? 20, 30 minutes, I'm calling the school. Is the bus late? Is there traffic? What's going on? Then they would have told her, no, she got off the bus. Then I would have been wondering. A little bit of time, I would have been calling the police. Not going to the school and calling the Detroit Police Department. What are they going to do? What are they going to do? We're talking about a 13-year-old. Come on now.
They called the police from there. DPS police came to the school.
So the first report you made to the police was the next morning.
Yes.
Do you know approximately what time?
School starts at 7:30. So I got there at 7:30. They got there about, I don't know, maybe 8.
So you didn't go to the precinct, you went to the school, and the school called the police?
Yes, they called the police because I was getting ready to leave, and the dean said, no, stay here. She said, and we'll call the police.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you are familiar with Mr. Butts, correct?
I know Mr. Butts.
Okay, and he dated your daughter Shannon, correct?
Correct.
They did have 5 children, correct?
Correct.
And did all the children stay with you and Shannon?
Yeah, but yeah.
Now, without, I don't want to give too much detail on the kids. What were the mix of boys and girls?
Can you repeat that?
What were the mix of the kids, boys and girls?
Well, I have a boy and girl, and Shannon has her 3 boys and her 2 girls.
So she had 3 boys and the 2 girls. Okay. And at any time, now I think you did indicate that Mr. Butts would come over and I think you said he would rarely come in, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But he would come in on occasion, correct?
Not really on occasions, because most of the time when he came in, he would pull up in my driveway, and my daughter would go out to the truck, and a lot of times the kids would go out to the truck. So it was very rare if he ever came in my house.
And we know that from text messages, that's a lie, because he be in there. So I don't know what you talking about. I don't know if this lady got a job. I don't know if I don't think she mentions having a job, but he been in your crib. He was very familiar with your crib. He was very familiar with Naziah room, where he was stealing her underwear and doing all type of weird shit in the basement, all up and through your crib, girl. He was in there. He was in there.
And you indicated that you were close, you were close with Naziah?
Yes.
Can you think of any reason that Naziah would not share information with you?
No. Naziah would come to me and talk to me all the time.
Okay.
If something was bothering her, or if she had a bad day in school, she'll come to me and we'll sit and talk about it. I always kept the door open for.
Lies. You want to know why I say it's lies? It's literally a video on Facebook with her cussing them out. What child, what person is gonna come to somebody, some grown lady that literally know her? It's something about this lady I don't like. She's a liar. She tried to make it seem like she didn't know Jarvis Butts. He done had 5 kids with your daughter. You know him. You're very close with him. Let's be honest. Stop acting like you don't know this man. You said your door was an open door, Naziah. She would come to you. So did you know that he came to Shannon and said that he was a predator? He went to jail for sexually abusing a child? Did you know that? Since your door was such an open door. Nah, I'm not feeling this lady at all. But yeah, let's get back into it.
For communication with Naziah and with really all of my children. So she always felt free, to come to me and sit down and talk to me about whatever.
So if something was frustrating Naziah, she would come with you?
She would, that I know of, yes.
Right. If something was scaring Naziah, she would come to you.
If something was bothering her or she was frustrated about something, she would come to me and say, "Hey, Nana, can I talk to you?"
If there was any medical condition, she would come to you regarding that?
I believe she would, yes.
You take her to the hospital, take her to the doctor?
Yes.
Well, we all know that's a lie, because Naziah was texting Jarvis saying that she need pads. Why can't she come to you as a grandmother and tell you that she need pads? That's a lie. Your relationship, you and Naziah's relationship was not that close how you make it seem. You was an evil grandmother. I don't like this lady. I really don't. I really, really don't. I'm trying to save everything I really want to say to the end, but I don't like this lady. And I'm sorry y'all for keep pausing it, but nah. This lady, It's something about her. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Okay. Just a moment. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Can you redirect?
Ms. Harris, I just have a couple more questions for you. When Reagan was asking you questions, you said that Mr. Butts would come and sit in his car, right, outside your house?
Yes,
And you said that the kids would go and out to the car.
yes.
Which kids would go out to the car?
His kids.
I want to buy your house. I can pay you cash for your house, no matter what condition it's in. If you
Would Neziah ever go with his kids out to the car?
If Shannon was out there, she would.
And Mr. Reagan also asked you.
And that's another thing, like, it's just weird to me how Neziah has such a close relationship to this man. She was not kin to this man. She was no blood related. They keep saying, oh, uncle, niece. That was not his niece, and that was not her uncle. She was not blood related. She had no kin to this man. So in their head, did they not think like, why does this grown-ass man want to be so close to this, to my granddaughter, to my niece? It's giving weird. Now I see, because Neziah, she didn't have her mom or she didn't have her dad. Her grandmother was her guardian, right? So I could see if they was all going to like a amusement park, right? Or like they was going to Disney World, or they was going to the swimming pool. And it was like, you're not going to leave a kid hanging. You're going to invite that kid. But we're talking going out to the car. We're talking being in the basement. We're talking about being at his workplace. Why does this grown-ass man want such a close relationship to this little girl that he have no kin to? Is it weird or is it just me? Like, I don't know. It's very much weird. But, okay.
You about the tablet that you bought for Neziah.
Yes.
Remember those questions?
Yes.
And when, if you can remember, narrow that down, when did you buy that tablet for her?
I bought that tablet for her one Christmas. I think it was in 22 when I bought that tablet, at the end of 22 when I bought that tablet for her.
So December of 22.
Yeah, I think that when I bought that tablet.
So she would have had that tablet for roughly just over a year then, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
And did Neziah also have access to a cell phone?
The only cell phone she had access to was one of the cell phones when my oldest daughter came to visit me. She gave to her, but she can only use it by Wi-Fi.
You said your oldest daughter, is that Neziah's biological mother?
Yes.
Okay. And through, what's your oldest daughter's name?
Kenya Harris.
Through Kenyatta Harris, Neziah got access to a phone?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Mr. Reagan's also asked you about Neziah staying after school. You said that there was an after-school program she was involved in?
Yes.
On January 9th and in January of 24, was she still involved in that program?
No, I took her out of it because she was having problems with one of her schoolmates at that time. The same person that he asked me about before that she didn't get along with.
The same person Mr. Riggins asked her.
Absolutely.
And so on the 9th, she was not supposed to stay after school.
No, she was supposed to come straight home.
And when she didn't come home, you said that you were driving around looking for her, correct?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what efforts you made on the 9th to locate her?
When I went to the school to go pick my son and daughter up because they were also in the after school program, picked them up, went back to the house. I thought she was there, and when I got to the house and I found out that she wasn't there, I got back in the car and I went back up to the school. And by that time, nobody was there. Nobody was at the school. So now, I mean, I'm kind of like, I'm frustrated.
Lies.
Now I'm going like, because whenever she wants to stay after school or do something, she would always call me. Well, hey, Nana, can I stay after school? Or she would call one of her TTs, hey, TT, can I stay after school? So that wasn't my person. I'm really frustrated now. So now I go back to the house and I'm talking to my daughter, Shannon.
And I want to stop you right there because I don't want to go into what anybody else said.
Okay.
But you went back to the school. Nobody was at the school. You went back to the house. Nizaya is still not there, correct?
Correct.
Did you go back out looking for her after that?
I did.
Where did you go?
I was driving around in the neighborhood, everywhere. I'm just looking, just like hoping I'll see her,
Yeah, hold on, Judge. On the 9th, when you were looking for her, well, let me ask it this way. Did you know Nizaya to go to Mr. Butts' place of work to assist him with anything there?
Yes, there was a couple of times that she went with his daughter and they went up there to go clean up at his shop.
And how would they get there? If you remember.
He would come and pick them up.
And was that in that white truck that you talked about earlier?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And did you yourself know where Mr. Butts worked at?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know, where is that?
It was Frank's shop located on Warren, East Warren.
And is that the last place that you knew him to work? Or did you know him to work somewhere else?
I knew him to work there, and then the shop moved to a different location.
Did you know where that new location was?
Personally, no.
Okay. And did you ever, on the 9th, did you ever try and go to Mr. Butts' place of work to look for Nizaya?
On the 9th, no.
Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Harris, we're done testifying. Watch your step, please exit the box.
Okay. All right.
So what I gotta say about that grandmother, very strange. I feel like maybe she didn't have nothing to do with it, but she just didn't care. She just didn't care. And that's sad. Like, if you're gonna be a guardian and adopt the kid, like, at least show some care. Like, I don't know. I feel like really she just trying to save her ass. That's all she's trying to answer the questions. But if you had no problem, you had no issue, you're not guilty, you're just going to answer the questions the way you answer it, right? Way too careful. And I don't know. I don't like that. But we're going to get into Shannon Harris, which is the daughter of Annette Harris, which is the baby mother of Jarvis pervert ass Butts. So yeah.
Judge, first, I would like to move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibits 15 and 16 pursuant to MRE 8036. They are certified records of text-style messages. Exhibit 15 is messages from September 24th, 2022 through November 7th of 2022. And Exhibit 16 is messages from March 4th, 2023 through January 9th of 2024.
Any objection?
No objection for exam purposes, pending analysis under 403, assuming that they're relevant.
Okay, it'll be a minute. That's People's Exhibit 15 and 16, you said?
Yes, Judge. And at this time, people will call Shannon Harris.
Walk over to the court, sit down, and stay on the station for the record. Right here.
First name.
Raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, watch your step, please. Have a seat.
You want to speak into this mic, you can also pick it up and hold it in your lap.
Whenever you're ready, Ms. Ripley.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon Harris,
And Ms. Harris, how old are you?
31.
And back on January, or in January 2024, where did you live?
With my mom.
If you've been in a car accident, don't call an attorney. Use this AI app instead.
That's what I did, and that's how I got this.
Resides with my mother,
With your mother? Okay, who's your mother?
Annette Harris,
And without telling me the exact address, what street did you live on?
Bedford.
And do you have any children?
Yes,
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes,
Who's their dad?
Jarvis Butts.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
green, blue, whatever. Green.
Green. Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in this case?
So reflected.
Thank you, Judge. And you said your mom's name is Annette. Do you have any sisters?
Yes, 2.
What are their names?
Kenyatta Harris and Marquita Harris.
Are they older, younger, something else?
Oh, there. Marquita is a twin. She's my twin, same age.
And Kenyatta's older?
Yes,
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
yes,
Do you know someone named Neziah Harris?
yes.
What's your relationship to her?
My relationship to her, she is my niece. I'm her aunt.
Okay. And whose daughter is she?
My older sister is Kenyatta Harris.
And did you have any nicknames for Neziah?
Yes, we all called her Tuh.
And is that Tudda?
Yes,
Did Neziah ever know Jarvis through you?
yes.
And when did Neziah and Jarvis first meet?
When she was little, like age 2.
Um, Can you kind of describe the relationship between Desire and Jarvis?
It'd be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that. House where I used to live, or at my mother's.
Relationship.
No.
Jarvis was
Where did I know him to work? The other location would be on Gratiot and Connor.
or those locations. Would you ever know Desire to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Messiah to come and work up at the shop. And I would say, let me ask my mom first for Messiah.
That be
My Janaya.
or know to go shop alone? Whose birthday is on or around September 26th?
That's no.
Okay, and that would that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number.
The only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
And what about a 58 or the 510 number?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a number you would also text Jarvis from?
Correct.
And what number did you have for Jarvis Butts?
The 313-585-8719.
And did you have any numbers for Messiah?
It was a funny looking area code. The area code was a 231.
Okay. From People's Exhibit 16. I'm going to direct you to about June 27th, 23. Okay. Oh, I believe it's highlighted. Whose phone number do you know that to be?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay, and you don't recall ever sending any of those messages?
No.
Okay, and now I want to direct you to messages from June 28th of 2023. How about any of these? Did you send any of these to Jarvis Butts?
No.
What about any messages from July 2nd of 2023? Did you send any of those messages?
No.
What about messages from August 26th of 2023? Did you send any of those to Jarvis Butts?
I'm sorry, was that 26?
August 26th.
No. These aren't my messages.
Did Jarvis Butts ever tell you that Nasiah texted him to meet up on January 9th of 2024?
No.
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Nasiah on January 9th of 2024?
Yes.
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
I called him. He didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him, has he seen Tuda, any whereabouts? And I said no Tuda, and he responded back. Oh, wow.
I didn't hear what you said, the last part.
Last part, I had, I texted him. Well, at first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time, I sent him a message, still no Tuda. He replied back, oh, wow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And you're on a may I approach?
Yes.
And just for record references, I'm showing her what's going to be proposed, People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see those on this page?
Yes.
Okay. And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number.
Okay. And who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay. And is this, I guess, do these fairly inaccurately represent these two messages? 3, 4, 5. 6 messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 through January 11th, 2024.
The first page is, yes, it's correct. Second page. It's correct.
Der Club.
Der Club?
Der Club.
Crazy. That's all I gotta say.
Jetzt fliegt der Club zu mir.
Yes.
Okay. And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told him that there was still no TUDA.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, oh, wow.
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Nizaya still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
At a fifth point, I just asked that if she's going to read from the text message she just admitted the exhibit.
I
An
can.
issue with moving to admit?
No, Judge. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and his phone between, well, they start back earlier. Some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between
Yes.
you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48.
Yeah, the defense, they don't have no case. They don't have no case. So really, we're depending on the jury at this point. And all I can say, the jury better not fail Nizaya. It's too much evidence that points that Jarvis did something to Nizaya. And he's the reason that she's missing. All the other, whatever they're trying to say, is not enough evidence. They're trying to make it seem like it's not enough evidence, whatever. There's enough evidence. And it's just really sad to me because this happens every single day. It's a child being abused every single day. And it's like you don't want to put no blame on nobody but the person who did it. But the grandmother, you allowed it. You were supposed to be her guardian, her caretaker, and you failed her. The aunt, Shannon, that was your boyfriend, your baby daddy, whoever he was to you. I don't know who he was to you for real at the time. Whoever he was to you, you brought this man around. And yeah, let's just get back into it.
Objection. Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And to backtrack just a little bit, on December 3rd, 2023, do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Nizaya for anything?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay. So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
To the said, do you still need her to?
Okay. And do you know what was that referring to?
It was Tilda had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st of 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. That fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is to be honest, these messages are seen into the inbox to you. I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon. I mean it. The next message is I don't know what to say, or to his own. Since this shit doesn't sit right with me, call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says this for life. Nigga, I thought about it. And you can pass it. And don't call me. No need to explain shit. I already see it.
Okay. So you were referencing some messages that you saw in Tada's inbox.
Correct.
Tell me, how did you see some messages? Well, first of all,
So basically, she sees some messages. Like the grandmother said, she took Nazia's tablet. They see messages between Jarvis and Nazia. Well, let me just say Shannon see messages between Jarvis and Nazia. And that's why she responded like that. Oh, I'm good off you. Oh, you ain't even gotta explain shit, nigga. Like she talking like he not abusing a little girl. She make it seem like it was another grown ass woman. That's what's weird to me. Like it just really don't make no sense. It don't make no sense to me at all. It makes no sense. But let's get back into what she's talking about because, yeah, she's going to further explain the text messages, I guess.
Officer Gardner came to pick up Nazia's tablet. My mom asked me to put it on the charger. I put it on the charger. Officer Gardner, after that, Officer Gardner called and said she's on her way.
you're saying, without saying what.
Okay, I'm sorry. The officer had called and said that they was on their way to come
Still
pick up
hearsay.
the tablet.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sustained as far as hearsay.
yes, thank you, Judge. Okay, continue.
So before the tablet was picked up, I looked inside to this tablet. She has 2 passwords that I normally know. So one of them is referenced for her brother's birthday, and the other one is referenced from my password. So I put the first password in, it didn't work. So I put the second password in. So the first thing I went to was Instagram, which I was scrolling. And I seen Jarvis Butt's Instagram page. I clicked on his page and I seen 2 messages.
Okay, and what were the messages that you saw? Well, who were they between, first of all?
Nazia, my niece, and Jarvis.
Okay, and
So this is hearsay. They have not been admitted, and the messages themselves would be the evidence.
were the messages of a sexual nature?
No.
Okay, and you said you saw 2 messages.
Yes.
Okay, did you see anything else?
It was two sent pictures, but you can't really make anything out. There wasn't nothing there, but it was a picture was sent.
Okay. What did seeing those messages, what did they cause you to do?
Well, when I see no messages, I called him and Jarvis Butts.
Okay.
Called him while he was at work, asked him, what is these messages I seen between you and my niece? And he said, what messages? Said it's two particular messages that states out and it's a picture. And he stated that, I don't know, these messages, I told him what the messages were. And he said it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I know how our children will text.
Okay. And reading those messages, is that what caused you to text
Mr. Butts, yes.
Mr. Butts, in that you've seen the messages in the inbox and you don't really know what to believe anymore?
Correct.
Okay. One second, Rich. So, Sharon, I want to take you back to January 9th. Were you home that day?
Yes.
Okay. And did you see Naziah that day?
My senior did that morning, correct.
Okay. And do you remember what she was wearing at all?
Her coat and her uniform at the time, she had on some blue jeans. I don't really recall the outfit. I just know the coat.
Okay. And what was the coat that she had on?
She had on, it was all the characters on it.
Okay. And you recall seeing her wearing that the morning of January 9th?
Correct.
And Your Honor, may I approach people's already exhibit 2?
Yes.
I'm going to show you people's exhibit 2. Can you tell me, do you recognize a coat in this photo?
Yes.
And whose coat do you recognize that to be?
Naziah's.
Okay. Now, after you when you saw Naziah that morning, what did you do the rest of the morning?
Nothing, I was at home with my mom and my 2 children.
And do you ever leave the house at any point that day?
No, I was at the house the whole entire day.
And do you know what time Naziah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days, she will come home. The days she will stay for after school is 6. And the days that she don't is at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And on January 9th, do you know if Naziah had the after-school program?
Yes. At that time, my mom took her out of the after-school program. So she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay. And were you home at 3 o'clock?
Yes.
And did you see Naziah come home?
No.
Okay. And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
No.
Okay. Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
No.
Okay. Did you, yes, when Naziah didn't come home, did that cause you to experience or feel any type of way?
It did. When she didn't come home is when my mom went to go pick up the other 2 children from the after-school program. They knocked on the door and they had asked a question and said,
Objection, sounds like hearsay.
One second. You have a response or?
A question isn't hearsay technically.
I think she said.
It's just a question.
I'm
Yes.
just getting ready to say a question. Okay,
What was
finish
the
what you're
question?
saying.
What was the question?
The 2 children had asked me, Mom said, did
That's the hearsay.
Naziah come home?
The hearsay is mom said.
Okay, so were you asked directly whether Naziah came home?
So my mom was still in the car, I was inside the house. They was coming to the house, walking up to the door. When I opened the door, they asked me, Mom said, did Naziah come home? I said, no.
Okay. And was Naziah home at all?
No.
Okay. And did you do any sort of looking for Naziah that night?
Yes.
What did you do?
I called my twin sister. I called some of her friends that I know that stays close by. If they had seen Naziah, heard from Naziah and everything. And when I reached out to my sister, she said no. Her friend said no. So after that, I asked my mom, did she want me to call the police? She said no, she will take it up in the morning.
Okay. Just one second.
Take it up in the morning is crazy.
Shannon, did you know desire to have a pair of red and black Nike shoes?
Yes.
Okay. And if I showed you a picture of them, would you be able to identify them?
Yes.
And for the record, this was exhibit 14, and it'll be picture 34. Do you recognize these shoes?
Yes, that's a pair of shoes that my mom bought for to the birthday.
Okay, thank you. Now, back on the 9th, you said your mom was going to file a police report in the morning.
Correct.
Okay. Did you go with her to file a police report in the morning?
No, it was my older sister.
Okay. Did you do anything on the 10th as it relates to trying to find Desire?
Yes. We went out. I and some others went out to go get some pictures, made copies. We went to other stores, passed out flyers, and everything that we need to do. Like what was asked of us to do.
Okay. And since January 9th, 2024, have you seen Desire?
No.
Have you, since January 9th, 2024, have you heard from Desire?
No.
Nothing further at this time, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Harris, I also have some questions for you. You and Mr. Butts have been 12 years?
Correct.
And fair to say that you were in a dating relationship with him most of that time year. It was more off and on, fair to say?
No, it was on and off for years.
For years, okay. But you have 5 children with him?
Correct.
And this relationship that you had with him, even towards the end when it was on, it was a sexual relationship, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you go to a motel to have sex with him,
Correct. Yes.
and that motel was the Park Crest Inn?
Or the SharePoint.
There was more than one?
Multiples, yes.
Okay. But one of them was the Park Crest? Said yes?
Correct.
And it's in Harper Woods,
Correct.
on Harper?
Correct.
You know?
Damn, not the motel though. Okay.
Correct.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
I believe you said that you have, of your 5 children with him, 2 are girls
Yes.
and 3 are boys.
Correct.
And in January of this time, well, January 2023, you were living with your mother on Bedford, correct?
Correct.
Prior to that, were you living in Clinton Township?
Correct.
When did you leave the Clinton Township home and move to the Bedford home?
October 23.
And so there were times when you were in Clinton Township that Mr. Butts would travel out there to see the kids?
Correct.
And then when you moved to the Bedford address, he would go to the Bedford address to see the kids?
Correct.
And then the Bedford address is when Naziah was also living there, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you just testified that on January the 9th, you were living at that house? in
Correct.
Bedford, and you were there during the day?
Correct.
And so were you one of the first people that realized that Naziah did not come home when she was expected to be home?
Well, I didn't realize it until I had got a question. By the other kids had asked, did I have Naziah came home yet, or have I?
Okay, that's my issue right here. You didn't notice? How you didn't notice? We're talking about a 13-year-old girl who always come home on time. They literally said it, 3:05. They know exactly when she come home. All of a sudden, you just don't notice she didn't come home. Is that not weird? I know she had her own thing going on or whatever the case may be, but you just didn't notice. You knew she was taken out the after school program, so you knew she came home before the other kids. But just on this particular day, you just didn't notice. That's weird.
And I said no.
Do you remember what time it was in the afternoon?
6 o'clock.
So that was about 3 hours later than she normally should have been home?
Correct.
3 hours after she would normally come home. You just didn't notice. 3 hours. Come on now.
Was that surprising?
Yes, it was. One, we thought that she was at the after school program, but it didn't dawn on no one. Our mom came back to the house and she wasn't here, or she wasn't in the car when they had got in the car.
And so when you all realized that she wasn't at school and she wasn't at home, was that surprising?
Yes.
But you didn't go to police that night?
No.
She ever not returned home previously?
No, this is her first time ever doing this.
Did she have friends in the neighborhood that she would go visit?
Why is everyone spiraling over unskippable ads? Just download Pi and you'll never have to see another ad again. This Chrome extension takes 5 seconds to set up.
Yes.
And you said, are those the folks that you contacted to ask?
Yes.
You were just shown a pair of red and black Nike shoes, right?
Correct.
And you identified those shoes as being Naziah's shoe. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's a shoe that looks like the shoe that Naziah is wearing, correct?
Correct. Correct.
You can't say for sure that that exact
Yes,
shoe came from Naziah. Is that fair to say? I think you testified.
Right.
Only if your phone was turned off. And that was not very often.
Right. Yes, like she would ask, hey, TT, can I see your phone? Sure, I wouldn't mind. Yes.
And so would she text from that phone? Did you ever notice any text from
No.
her on your phone? Did you ever notice if she had used your Text Now app?
No, the only time when I would notice he would want to send me or like you.
Instagram account, did you ever notice anything on your phone that caused you to be concerned?
No.
Between Isaiah and Mr. Lutz?
No.
And Mr. Lutz, we said would come to the house to see his kids.
Okay.
He would drop them off at the house sometimes. He would take them places.
Yes.
He would pick Janaya up from there.
Like he, depending on like if he will pick up the kids, if I need him to pick up the kids from the pickup or drop off spot, for school, he will do that. Yeah.
And then take them either to Clinton Township when you live there or to the Bedford Street address.
Correct.
Okay. But most times he wouldn't even come to the house, right?
He will come to the house. He will call me first before he will come.
Would he come into the house physically or would he sit in his truck outside?
50%. He will sit in the car and wait till the kids come outside, or he will knock on the door.
Okay. Would he be in the house for any length of time?
Only if I'm inside the house.
Like he was visiting with you?
Yes.
Okay. So you never knew a time that Mr. Butts would have been alone in the house with Nasiah?
No.
You can't think of a time when he would have been in the house and had gone down to the basement with her?
No.
Or any other room in the house alone?
No.
Would Mr. Butts have ever been at that house if another adult, like you or your mother, weren't there?
He will, what you said.
Would Mr. Butts ever be at the house if you or your mother weren't there?
No, it will be me or another person.
The idea that anything was going on between Mr. Butts and Isaiah is shocking to you, right?
Correct.
You had no idea.
No.
You never noticed anything between Isaiah and Mr. Butts that made you concerned?
No.
You never saw any inappropriate behavior?
Not at all.
You didn't notice Mr. Butts paying any special attention to her?
No.
Certainly, if you had noticed that, that would have caused you concern.
Yeah, it would have raised a whole bunch of red flags.
Likely, you wouldn't have invited him into the house, correct?
Correct.
You found it hard to believe even that Mr. Butts.
So she would just ask was, okay, if she noticed any inappropriate behaviors between Isaiah and Jarvis, would she have him around? She said that would have raised a whole bunch of red flags, but you knew he was an already known sex offender. So what are you even talking about? You didn't care. You knew something was going on. But it just be weird, like, I don't know, like, it's just like people be knowing stuff be going on, but they don't say nothing. Like, I don't get it. How can you know that a kid's life, a kid's well-being is endangered and you don't say nothing? Oh, it's just not my business. Oh, I don't have nothing to do with that. It don't make no sense. So when she said, oh yeah, it would have raised a whole bunch of red flags. Girl, he been told you he was a sex offender. It would have never been surprising. But that's what you accepted. That's who you decided to have kids with. Do you? But then you brought him around other people's kids. He had no kin to Nasiah. He wasn't her uncle. That wasn't his niece. So why was he wanting to pick her up and bring her to his shop and wanting to see her? And why? He had no kin to this little girl. Make it make sense. She knew, and the grandmother knew. But they did nothing about it. And that's sad. That's why they sitting on this stand trying to protect themselves. Really. Because y'all knew what was going on. Y'all just did nothing about it. And that's sad.
Butts would hurt Messiah.
But I won't know what he will do. Person's back is up against the wall.
But the thought of that was hard for you, at least at one point, to believe, correct?
Correct.
Now, during the time that you and Mr. Butts were together, he's had children with other women,
Correct.
pretty consistently with other women,
Correct.
more than one woman.
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood on the east side.
Correct.
But you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Even one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the west side?
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
Before January the 9th, you had a conversation with Naziah about a location on Outer Drive in Belfour,
Yes.
and that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit.
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower. She asked me, she said, "Hey, Titi," she said, "where is Balfour and Outer Drive?" And I told her, I said, "You know exactly where Balfour and Outer Drive at?" I said, "Outer Drive is right where the wine basket at." And I said, "You know where Balfour at?" And she was like, "I get Balfour and Bedford mixed up." So I said, "You already know Balfour is before Bedford."
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space? Enter your address and get a 360-degree satellite view of your home right now.
So she said, "Okay." She said, "Because we are in school and we are learning about our surroundings." So I said, "Okay." But that was the only two things that she had asked, was where was Outer Drive and Balfour at.
Does that location have any special significance to you?
No.
Do you know anybody at that location?
No, the only thing that I'm used to, I'm familiar with, is just picking up Jarvis Outer Drive and Balfour. It's just on a corner.
On a corner?
Mm-hmm.
Not at an address?
Not on the address.
When was this conversation that you had about that location? Do you recall?
This was right before Naziah went missing.
Like how soon before? Weeks?
Maybe it was still like in that same week she went missing.
Mr. Butts didn't have his own vehicle, fair to say?
No, he didn't.
He generally used
his female's vehicles.
Did you know Mr. Butts to park at one location and then walk to another to kind of try to remain undetected?
Pretty much, yes.
So would it be not out of the ordinary for you to have to pick him up at a random, or what seemed to be a random location to you?
Correct.
You lived with Naziah for, you said, from about October until January the 9th.
Correct.
So you spent a lot of time around her?
Yes.
You knew her mannerisms?
Yes.
Her demeanor?
Yes.
Her moods?
Yes.
Did anything strike you as out of the ordinary about how she was acting at any point in time in December or January before she disappeared?
No, Naziah, nothing have changed. Her character, none of that. She was just the same old Naziah. Nothing was different.
Isaiah has a brother, right?
Yes,
Is it an older brother?
yes,
No, he had run away in 2023, is that right?
yes.
Objection relevant.
How was it relevant?
If it's something that had bothered her or something that she was dealing with at the time, could cause a change in her demeanor.
Okay. Overruled.
So she did have a brother that ran away,
Correct.
and was that something that she struggled with?
She didn't like the fact that her brother was running away. Yes, she didn't like it.
Around the same time, around the time December, January, was her mother supposed to come visit, her biological mother?
Yes.
Did she end up coming to see Naziah?
Yes.
She did. Did Naziah seem to have some big emotions about that contact?
Yes.
It was complicated, fair to say?
Yes.
Did she talk to you about that?
All the time.
Did you notice anything? You said you didn't notice anything in a changing mood. So
No.
what about physically?
No.
I don't have anything else, thank you.
Can you redirect?
Yes. Did you go to the Park Crest Inn on January 9th, 2024? Mr.
No.
Fox?
No.
And fair to say, you knew of Mr. Butts having other female.
Yes. Yes.
And even some that you didn't know about. It'd be fair to say that you always know what Mr. Butts was doing.
No.
You couldn't account for his whereabouts.
No.
Did you know him? Those cars that he would use, did you know? You have,
Correct.
and children.
Correct.
Okay, and you knew him to have clearly gotten other women pregnant.
Correct.
And to your knowledge, were all those women adults?
To my knowledge, yes.
To you ever hide getting another woman pregnant?
No.
Nothing for the rich.
Okay, you are done testifying. Please watch your step. Excellent. Who's going to be doing the next witness?
I will.
Okay, as far as time.
It's short.
Okay, so we'll do one more witness and then we'll take a break.
At this time, we people call Marilyn Lee.